Hey, Paul Ryan, what's wrong?
The president wants me to teach Congress trigonometry with a simple video, but I cannot find one.
Do not worry, Paul Ryan. I will make a video that is educational so all may learn from it.
Really? That is megalit, fam.
Paul Ryan, please stop asserting your dominance and listen up. Trigonometry is the relationship between a right triangle's angles have with its sides. Trigonometry is based off three main ratios: sine, cosine, and tangent. Each ratio corresponds to one side over another. An easy way to remember this is SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent equals opposite over adjacent. The hypotenuse is always the side opposite of the right angle, but the adjacent and opposite may change. The way to remember it is that the adjacent is next to or touching an angle you're trying to focus on, but the opposite is not. Now let's practice. Presented is right triangle ABC. Please pause the video here and find the ratios of angle A. Did you get these answers? If so, good job, but if not, it's okay. You'll get the hang of it with practice. Here's the ratios of angle B, if you were wondering. But what if our right triangle looks like this, with an angle measure and a side measure? How do we find the rest? The first step is to figure out which ratio you are going to use. In this instance, you can either use sine or tangent, depending on which other side you want to find. Now we must create an equation and find the variable. If we wanted to find the sine, we would create an equation like this and multiply each side by the hypotenuse. And then we would divide by sine 35 to create an equation that equates to the hypotenuse. For the tangent, it's very similar, but instead we multiply by the adjacent and create an equation that will equal the adjacent. We should end up with two equations that look like this, and you could use whichever one you want depending on which side you want to find. Now we're ready to insert our equations into a calculator, but before we do that, we need to make sure that our calculators are in degree mode. We do this by hitting the mode button and scrolling down until we see the words radian and degree and selecting the word degree. Radian is the standard options, so you will have to do this every time. If you do not use degree mode, your answer will be wrong. This is just a visual representation of how each side will correspond with their own equation. And now let's put those equations in our calculators with degree mode in place. After you've put your equations in your calculator and done the calculations, you should find these as the side lengths of their respective sides. Now, please pause the video and solve this triangle on your own by finding both sides, but be careful, you'll need to use your algebra skills to figure out how to solve the equations. And these are the answers and side lengths you should get for each side. And this is how you solve it, by multiplying by 8 on each side and isolating either the adjacent or the opposite to get the equation. So let's review. The three ratios of trigonometry are sine, cosine, and tangent. You can remember them by SOHCAHTOA, and sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent equals opposite over adjacent. And always use degree mode. So what did you think, Paul Ryan?
The president was so impressed that he made me president of the United States.